A piece of East Texas World War II history is almost forgotten, but part of it remains on its original site where another iconic institution sits today. KLTV7's Bob Hallmark has more on the massive hospital that helped get men back in the fight.
I'm Bob Hallmark in Longview, here off of Moberly Avenue. It was World War II, and here on this very spot, a massive installation was built to care for military personnel, thousands of them being cared for medically. But what sits on this site today is another iconic institution. There's more to this story. Less than 4 months after the U.S. entered the war, Longview civic leaders secured an Army General Hospital for the city along what is now Moberly Avenue. Construction began May 1942, and the facility opened with over 1,500 beds November of 42. Harmon General Hospital.
Massive hospital. There are a lot of facilities there, so they had everything from a bank, a theater. They also had like a gymnasium, a chapel. They even had its own postal exchange.
It grew to nearly 3,000 beds in 157 buildings and 232 barracks. Named after Colonel Daniel Warrick Harmon, 36-year Army Medical Corps veteran.
Malaria section. They did x-rays. They did laboratory. They even did veterinary. One time they even did 4,000 dental patients.
270 Women's Army Corps personnel, training facilities, even housing as many as 200 German prisoners of war. But the big effort was to get men back into the war effort.
A lot of soldiers were suffering from malaria at the time, so to have a facility that does that type of research is amazing. They had top-notch staff, highly recommended in their field. Helen Keller even came here in 1944.
December of 45, the last patient was released and the wards were closed. In 1946, R.G. Letourneau acquired the 156-acre hospital site where today the main campus of Letourneau University sits. The original hospital chapel remains with a historical marker. For KLTV7 News, I'm Bob Hallmark.
In its brief operation, over 23,000 military personnel were treated at Harmon General. Don't go anywhere. Sports is next.